If your dog follows you everywhere, not just sometimes, but every single day, from one room to another, from silence to silence, have you ever stopped and asked yourself why? Because most people never do. They laugh. They smile. They call it love. They say, "My dog just can't be without me." And it feels good to believe that. It feels warm, is simpler, safe. But what if that explanation is only the surface? What if something much deeper is happening, quietly, every time those paws move behind you? Because your dog is not just walking, they are watching, they are listening, they are reading things you do not even know you are showing. The way you stand up, the way your energy shifts, the way the room changes when you move. To you, it is nothing. To your dog, it is everything. Science is only beginning to understand how deeply dogs are connected to us, how they track our emotions, how they build their sense of safety around a single person, how they turn that person into their entire world. And sometimes, following you is not about affection at all. Sometimes, it is about protection. Sometimes, it is about uncertainty. And sometimes, it is the only way your dog knows how to stay close to the one thing that makes life feel predictable. But there is one moment, one shift, that most owners completely miss. Because if your dog has always followed you, and one day they stop, that silence means something far more important than you think. And we will get to that. At number 7, because once you understand why your dog follows you, you may never walk through your home the same way again. Number 1, it was never just attachment. It feels like love. That is the first thing people say. My dog follows me because they love me. And maybe part of you wants that to be true, because it is comforting. It makes the bond feel simple, pure, easy to understand. But real behavior is rarely that simple. Because if this was only love, your dog would not need to track every step you take. They would stay close sometimes, to rest other times, feel safe enough to let you move without them. But that is not what happens. Instead, they rise the moment you rise. They watch before you even move. They follow even when nothing is happening. That is not casual affection. That is awareness. Deep, constant awareness. Because inside your dog, there is an older system at work. One built long before your home existed. In that system, distance is not neutral. Distance means risk, and closeness means survival. So your dog makes a quiet decision, again and again, to stay near the one being that feels most stable, most predictable, most safe, and somewhere along the way, that became you. So no, this was never just attachment. This is something deeper, something your dog does not question. They do not choose it with thought. They choose it with instinct, and that instinct keeps bringing them back to you. Number 2, you became their emotional compass. Your dog does not follow you because they are confused. They follow you because you make the world make sense. Think about that. Every time you stand up, something inside them changes. Their eyes lift, their ears shift, their body waits for the next signal. Because to your dog, your movement is not just movement, it is information. When you walk toward the door, it may mean goodbye. When you move toward the kitchen, it may mean food. When you sit down quietly, it may mean peace. Over time, your dog learns the rhythm of you. Not the big obvious things, the tiny things. The breath before you leave, the pause before you speak, the way your energy changes before your day changes. And slowly, you become their compass. Not because they are weak, but because they trust your direction. In a world full of sounds, smells, and sudden changes, you are the signal they understand best. So when they follow you from room to room, they are not just chasing your shadow. They are staying close to the one thing that helps them feel oriented. The one presence that tells them where safety is, where calm is, where home is. Number 3, they are reading what you cannot see. You think your dog is following your body, but they are not. They are following your state, the part of you that never speaks, the part you do not even notice. Because every second, your body is changing, your breathing shifts, your muscles tighten, your scent changes in ways you cannot detect, but your dog can. With a nose far beyond human ability, they pick up chemical signals tied to stress, calm, fear, even subtle emotional shifts you have not processed yet. So, when you feel off, even slightly, your dog already knows, before you say a word, before you understand it yourself. And this is where following becomes something deeper, because your dog is not just staying close. They are checking you, quietly, constantly, adjusting to what they sense. This is why some days they follow you more, to stay closer, to watch you longer, not because they need attention, but because something in you feels different, and in their world, that difference matters. Because over time, your dog has learned what normal you feels like, and when that baseline shifts, even just a little, they move closer, not out of habit, but out of awareness. Because to them, you are not just a person. You are a signal worth protecting. Number 4, they are trying to stay part of your world. Your dog does not see your home the way you do. To you, it is rooms, walls, separate spaces with separate purposes. But to your dog, it is one connected environment. And in that environment, what matters most is not the place. It is the presence, yours. Because in a dog's mind, being near you is not just comfort, it is belonging. It is being part of something. In the wild, no animal moves alone without reason. Separation creates uncertainty. Distance creates vulnerability. So the group stays together, not perfectly, but closely enough to remain connected. Your dog still carries that instinct, even in a quiet house, even in complete safety. So when you leave a room, they feel that shift, not as distance in space, but as distance in connection, and they close it, step by step, room by room, not because they cannot be alone, but because being with you is how they stay part of the world they understand. You are not just where they feel safe, you are where they feel included, and following you is how they remain inside that connection. Number 6, when following turns into something heavier, this is where the feeling changes. Subtly, almost invisibly, because not every dog that follows you is doing it from calm connection. Some are doing it because they cannot settle without you. Watch closely. Does your dog relax when you leave the room? Or do they immediately get up? Do they rest peacefully? Or do they keep checking where you are? Because there is a difference between choosing to be near you and needing to be near you. A confident dog can let distance exist. They stay where they are. They trust that nothing changes just because you are out of sight. But a dog carrying quiet anxiety feels something else. To them, distance creates tension. Uncertainty builds. So they move, again and again, closing that gap before it grows too large. Following becomes a way to control that feeling, to stay connected to the only thing that makes the world feel stable. All you. And on the surface, it still looks like love, still looks like loyalty. But underneath, there is pressure, a need for reassurance, a constant checking, so the behavior may look identical. 2 dogs following the same person, but inside, one is calm, and the other is trying to feel safe. Number 7. When they stop, the silence is the message. This is the part that feels small, but isn't, because one day, your dog does not get up when you move. They stay where they are. They watch, but they do not follow. And it feels easy to ignore, easy to explain away. They are just tired. They are growing up. They are more independent now. But dogs do not change patterns like this without a reason. Not something this consistent, not something this instinctive. Because following you was never random. It was a choice, repeated every single day. So when that choice disappears, something underneath it has changed. Sometimes it is physical, pain that makes movement harder. Discomfort they cannot explain, so they choose stillness instead of closeness. Sometimes it is emotional, something shifted in their sense of safety, a moment, a feeling, a memory they cannot process the way you can, so they create space. And sometimes it is something even quieter, a gradual disconnect. So subtle, you only notice it when the footsteps are gone. This is why this moment matters, because your dog is not being distant. They are speaking, just without sound, and if you are paying attention, that silence will tell you everything you need to know. So what does all of this come down to? Not movement, not habit, not something small. It comes down to connection, because your dog is not just following you through space. They are attaching themselves to something they cannot explain, something they feel. Every step you take, every room you enter, every quiet moment when nothing seems to happen, your dog is there, not because they have to be, but because being near you makes the world make sense. You are not just part of their life. You are the structure of it, the rhythm, the signal, the place where uncertainty disappears. And when they follow you, they are choosing that feeling again and again and again. But here is what most people never realize. This is not automatic. It is built over time, through trust, through consistency, through thousands of small moments your dog never forgets. And that means something important, because if that behavior changes, if the footsteps behind you fade, if the presence you always felt suddenly becomes silence, that is not random. That is communication. Your dog does not have words, so they use distance. They use presence. They use patterns to tell you what is happening inside them. And once you understand that, you stop seeing your dog as just reacting to you. You start seeing them as something else entirely. A mind that watches, learns, adapts, and chooses. And maybe the most important part of all, they chose you. Not once, not by accident, but every single day, in every quiet step behind you,